We first told you Monday about the transportation program for people on the Oregon Health Plan, which is the state's version of Medicaid, and how it's not always reliable. Members say they've been left stranded at doctor's appointments, sometimes for hours, or they've maybe been not picked up at all.
Now, the Fox 12 investigators are learning more about Ride to Care and what goes on behind the scenes. Fox 12's Haley Rush joins us now live in studio with the latest. Haley.
Good morning. For some background, Ride to Care is provided by Health Share of Oregon, a coordinated care organization that serves OHP members. About a year ago, Health Share of Oregon changed Ride to Care vendors, switching from an out-of-state company to a local company called Gridworks. Since this story aired, we've not only heard from more members, but also the contractors who drive members to appointments and even Gridworks employees. Here's what they have to say. Through the Oregon Health Plan, members have access to medical rides to and from their appointments with the program called Ride to Care. And for about the last year, a local company called Gridworks has operated it.
It is horrible to say I'm at that point to where I don't want to do it anymore because it's not getting better.
The Fox 12 investigators sat down with a woman who wants to remain anonymous in fear of losing her job for speaking out. She works for a medical transportation company that picks up OHP members through Ride to Care. She claims the problems regularly start at Gridworks' dispatch center.
We're not 100% perfect. Sometimes drivers are running late. They don't communicate with dispatchers. Last minute they're letting us know, hey, I haven't dropped yet, we're running late. But a lot of it is last minute changes. Rides are being sent to providers last minute. Addresses, phone numbers are incorrect. A lot of the time we will have the drop off as their home pickup address and the home as their drop off for an appointment.
The woman says when they try to call Gridworks for help, they're often put on hold for long periods of time.
And it's at that point we end up no-showing them because we can't get a hold to find the member and where they're located.
We also spoke with 2 Gridworks employees off camera. They told us Gridworks is severely understaffed in its dispatch center and workers often pull 12-hour shifts. The employees say those issues sometimes lead to dispatch mistakes. We reached out to Gridworks, speaking to the founder, Ross Peterson. He declined an in-person interview or phone call, only answering a series of questions through email. He repeatedly replied with the same answer, writing, "We are currently working to recruit new staff for our call center." He did write they're working on continued staff training. As for 12-hour shifts, Peterson says they offer overtime to employees who want it, but the agents are free to decide if they want those extra hours.
I don't care what Gridworks or HealthShare or anybody has to say, it's just not getting better. They could say whatever, I actually physically deal with it daily.
Well, we also reached out to Health Share of Oregon for most of the questions. They told us we needed to speak to Gridworks, but a communications manager at Health Share did make it clear they give providers their schedules 3 days in advance, but members can request rides the same day, which would obviously give drivers not as much notice.
So how does that work, though, when they have to do it on same day or that close in time?
Well, I found this really interesting. Peterson, through email, told me that they provide more than 8,000 rides a day. 30% of those are ordered on the same day. He then compared it to Lyft or Uber, writing if they can't provide or drive a member somewhere, they send the request to another driver through an app. Peterson says he thinks same-day dispatching is a service members want, and members I've spoken with say emergencies do happen and they do need last-minute rides, but providers have told me they just can't be a service like Lyft or Uber, rather. They have to be able to send the right cars for the right people, like ones that need wheelchairs or other medical equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
There is some planning involved, so
right,
it's
there's
hard
a little
to
bit
do
of
that.
planning. So a lot of moving parts in Ride to Care and what goes on and planning,
But
obviously.
there are those last-minute emergencies, so
right,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, very informative. Haley, thank you so much for that report.